I'm not going to be talking about the basic things that you can do to unfuck your life. That is sleeping, exercising, eating well, taking care of your health. All of that we should know by now. There's no point in repeating it again and again. And if you still haven't got all that down, then I suggest that you go and you fix that first and then come back to this video. When I decided to unfuck my life, this is how I looked physically. And to be honest, the physical part wasn't the worst part. It was the mental part. It was the things I did every single day. It was the life I was leading. It was the frustration I felt inside. It was the disappointment I felt inside that made me want to make a change. The first practical step is stacking wins from the time you wake up. Now, every time you win, it not only releases dopamine and helps you feel good, but there are studies to show that every time you win, you actually release testosterone. And as we know, testosterone is amazing for your health. It makes your confidence go up. It makes your physical health, your mental health, your stamina, everything just becomes so much better. And when I say stacking wins, I'm not talking about simple stuff. Like there's advice out there that says that when you wake up, the first thing you need to do is you need to go and make your bed, fold your bed sheet. And once you accomplish that, you know what? I can accomplish anything in this day if I accomplish that. Like personally, I think that's bullshit. Because just folding a couple of bed sheets is not going to tell your mind that you're a beast or you're capable of anything. Instead, what I like to do is from the time you start your day, you need to stack wins of things that you actually hate doing or things that you find hard and that suck. Now, when you set these hard things that you have to do in the morning when you wake up, you also have to condition your mind that no matter what the circumstance, no matter how you're feeling, these tasks have to be completed. And trust me, when you're able to complete a task that you did not want to do initially, or that you found hard, or that sucked, when you're able to complete that successfully, the amount of dopamine and testosterone that's released, the amount of pride you feel in yourself that you woke up and you actually did something you didn't want to do. You put your mind to work and you finished that task. Then the amount of pride and self-accomplishment that you feel can be carried on to the rest of your day, and the other tasks will honestly just become so much simpler and so much more easy just because you're fueled by the dopamine and testosterone. The next step is saying yes when your mind says no. What I mean by yes when our mind says no is that we need to condition our mind in a particular way. You see, our mind always chooses the path of least resistance. Like it doesn't want to go through the hardship. But at the same time, our mind is also very aware of what things that we do which will be good for us. So it is very aware of the things that are good for us, and it's very aware of the easygoing and the simple path, and it will always try to move to the simple path. Let me just give you an example. Yesterday I was doing a crazy workout as part of my 5 to 500 challenge, and that is I did 100 bench presses and then I did 100 overhead presses, and I was going to go for a run on the beach. But then something in my mind kept saying, should I do 100 deadlifts? And my mind started making excuses. No, you don't need to do 100 deadlifts. You did 200 repetitions of other exercises and you can now go and get a run on the beach, and that's going to be more than enough for your workout. Or the next excuse was you did an overhead press and you did a bench press, which are mainly push exercises, and deadlift is more of a pull exercise, so you can do it the next day. But that's when I caught my mind. If you're making excuses not to do this, that means I have to do this. Because when I started my workout, I had mentally prepared myself, or I had mentally told myself that I would do 100 bench presses, 100 overhead presses and 100 deadlifts. And by the time I was done with the first 2 exercises, I started making excuses for the third. So I did the 100 deadlifts and then I went for the run. So every time you catch your mind making the choice of choosing the easier path or the path of least resistance, stop, think, evaluate. Your mind is also aware of the things that will be good for you and the things that you know you have to do. So try and move away from that path and go down this path. Before I get to the third point, let me talk about the bonus point I mentioned in the start. So, one thing that I am doing every single day is 30 minutes of solitude. And when I say 30 minutes of solitude, it's isolation. I'm not going to be talking to anyone. I'm not going to have any music playing. I'm not going to be consuming any kind of content. And on the contrary, I'm not going to be meditating. I'm not going to be journaling. Max that I allow myself is to have a cup of coffee in my hand and just sit with my thoughts. Because today, these days, we are so used to being overstimulated that we do not allow ourselves time to actually get bored. And when I say get bored, boredom is not something bad. Boredom is what provides the breeding ground for creativity to flourish. And I have experienced this in my life as well. Whenever I am cycling or whenever I'm riding a bike and I can't put headphones and I'm just on the road with just going through the motions, that's the time when I get the most amazing creative ideas, because my mind is not getting stimulated by anything. It's not preoccupied. I'm just in the moment enjoying the rides. That's when I'm hit with the boost of creativity. And I've been doing this every single day. That is 30 minutes of solitude, just 30 minutes of no screen, nothing, just sitting with myself. I call it the me, myself and I time. And it has really made a huge difference in my life. It has increased my energy levels. It has made me less reliant on social media or that addiction of turning your phone on and just checking up what's the latest reel, what's the latest update. Just living with myself and doing things that make me feel good and make my life better. Now, the last thing that we need to do to unfuck our life is pretty simple in terms of theory. The practical execution depends on you. Now, I told you that our mind is aware of things we need to do that are good for us and the easy way out. So, from these things that are good for us, I want you to take one thing, just one thing that you want to improve, that you want to become better at, or that you want to make habitual, and do it every single day. This sounds so simple. Just do something every single day. But when I mean every single day, I mean every single day. That is no taking time off. Getting multiple repetitions in a row every single day. Now, there is one important rule that you can keep in mind while performing this, and that is the 21-90 rule. The 21-90 rule states that it takes 21 days to make something habitual and about 90 days to make something a lifestyle change. So you can decide on the spectrum how many days of consistency you want. 21, 50, 100, 200, 500. I mean, the limit is yours. But take something that you want to do every single day, because every day you're doing the same thing, you're going to get better at it. And you might not notice the difference day to day. But say you're on day 50 or day 100 and you look back to day 1 and you compare the two, you will notice the difference of how far you've come. Now, the thing that I'm currently working on is my creative writing skills, and to be specific, poetry writing. I love creative writing, I love poetry writing, but I want to make my poetry writing skills better. So every single day I'm writing one poem for 100 days, and I know from poem 1 to poem 100 there's going to be a difference in my skill, there's going to be a difference in my ability, and there's going to be an overall change, because every rep counts. Now, this was just a couple of steps that you can take to unfuck your life. But if you really want to make a 180 degrees onto your life, then I suggest that you get onto the 5 to 500 challenge that I am currently doing. It's a little extreme, it's very hard, it requires a lot of willpower, a lot of mental strength, a lot of physical strength, but it's going to be worth it. If you want to know details about that challenge, I'll link the video in the description and I'll link it in the comments as well. And if you guys enjoyed this video or found this video valuable, then a humble request of mine would be to hit that subscribe button, because it really helps me out and I'm trying to reach 1000 subs. So if you would do that, just hit the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me and I would really appreciate it. Besides that, I have nothing more to tell you or sell you. So just go and live a kick-ass life.